Hey YouTube, how's it going? Torsar here with another sports talk video. Today, I'd like to get right into things, talking about the NBA playoffs. Now, so far, these playoffs, series wise, have been, I don't want to say disappointing, kind of unfortunate. You know, you have some teams with the injuries, like the Memphis Grizzlies, Giannis being hurt. Paul George being hurt going into the playoffs, and now Kawhi not being able to play. It's really unfortunate. And you see all these series, they're all 3-1. The Sixers already wrapped up their series with the Nets 4-0. And the only, seemingly, unless someone does something spectacular like the Bucks versus the Heat, the only seemingly good first round matchup seems to be the Kings and the Warriors. And even that was looking in peril at first. The Warriors were down 0-2 and without Draymond Green, but you know, the Warriors are doing Warriors things. They've turned it around. Series is tied 2-2. So, that being said, hopefully, one, the second round matchups are better. Two, when series are going like this, what you're looking for is phenomenal games from individual players. Because the NBA, yes, it's a team-based game, but these legendary games, people remember them forever, even in losses or series losses. I literally became a Michael Jordan fan as a kid before they won any championships. You know, watching him versus the Celtics drop those 63 points, I said, I don't know who this Michael Jordan guy is, but that's now my favorite player, and I'm going to follow everything he does. So the person I'd like to get into first, because I didn't think anyone was going to be able to top what LeBron did, but man, Jimmy G Buckets, playoff Jimmy Butler, whatever you want to call him, what a game. So imagine there could be some, 7, 8, 9 year old kid who's just starting to get into the NBA out there, doesn't really have a team, and he watches, maybe he's watching with his dad or his older brothers, or just maybe even by himself like I was at the time. And he sees that performance. Well, guess who's probably his favorite player now is going to be? And I mean, you know, he's done these things in the past. But he kind of like goes, I don't want to say so far in between, but you kind of just forget that he's actually capable of this. I mean, you know he's a good player, and he can get, he's usually like a low 20s, 5 to 6, and 2 steals guy, 5 to 6 rebounds, 5 to 6 assists. So he's a good all around player, but with the fact that he's not known as a pure scorer, and especially in today's NBA where it's very 3-point oriented and he's just an average 3-point shooter at best, he had actually been atrocious with the Heat since he's been there, which is kind of weird. He was in the like mid 20s his other 3 seasons with the Heat. This season he got it back up to 35%. So it's, average, a little bit below average, but he'd always been at least in the 30s the rest of his career. So I guess it was just the way they were playing. He wasn't really looking for the open shots. He was probably taking more like tough shots when they really needed it. But every once in a while, he just puts out one of these games where you're just like, holy moly, Jimmy G. And Jimmy G Bucket. Sorry, I shouldn't call him. I just heard that, and it's like now I'm calling him Jimmy G like he's, the football player. But let me read the stat line for you. 56 points on 19 of 28 shooting, and he only went, which is decent, 3 of 8 from the 3-point line, but that means over half his misses were from the 3. Those were 5 of his 9 misses, so he only missed, what did he go, 11, so he hit 11 out of his 20 2-pointers. Or no, sorry, I'm doing bad math. But either way, phenomenal shooting. 9 rebounds added in. And it was a close game, so they needed every bucket Jimmy Buckets could give them. These are just the performances that people remember. You saw it in the bubble. season where they would not have, as good as the other players were playing, they would not have made the finals without him just having these just superb efforts. And if LeBron and AD had not been at their best, they were in danger of losing that series with the way playoff Jimmy was playing. And then the other performance I want to talk about, when will he ever stop? You think like at some point the man has to slow down. LeBron James just continuing. This isn't like Kareem in his later years where he's just like slowly piling on the stats, getting 14 points or so a game. This man is still averaging well up over 20 points. And to have first in his career in setting marks that he's beating records Wilt Chamberlain had. The oldest player to ever get 20 rebounds, to have a 2020 game, his first 20 rebound game in year 20. And again, they needed every bit of it. Now, he only had 22 points, but he's one of, maybe 10 players in NBA history where you could frame it like that. He only had 22 points. You know all the other names. I'm not going to even get into it. 22 points, 20 rebounds, 7 assists to go along. They needed every bit of it. A close overtime game to the scrappy Grizzlies. Like I said, it's really unfortunate that some of these injuries are going. That Suns Clippers series should have been a good one, and it's probably not going to be. I mean, you can only expect so much out of Russell Westbrook. And speaking of that, also, I want to give notable mention to Austin Reeves playing out of his mind and D'Angelo Russell. Those 3 threes in a row to just completely erase that 7-point lead the Grizzlies had late in the game. Just phenomenal. He's doing exactly for the Lakers what they pictured Russell Westbrook doing. He's capable of doing it, especially they needed all 3 of those guys with AD having an off game. Now, he still finds ways, even when he's not scoring, just like he did at Kentucky, to affect the game. 11 rebounds, 4 blocks. So it's not like the guy is just totally disappearing, but he does have those up and down games. He's going to have to solve that. Or the other guys are just going to have to pick up the slack for him like they did last night. I mean, if you think about it, that game went into OT and the Grizzlies missed so many shots. I mean, really, if he had played, even average, the Lakers would have been a handy double-digit lead, and there wouldn't have been any overtime needed. Like I said, hopefully the second round series are a little bit better. The teams that are healthy should move on. The only kind of disappointing one, I guess, in the sense that the Lakers Grizzlies is one thing, even with Steven Adams, and I forget I'm forgetting the name of the other guy, the other important player for them. Even with those guys, I still think most people would have picked the Lakers. So besides that series, and maybe whatever happens in the Warriors Kings, but even if the Warriors win that one, it's not like, those are like 2 huge monumental upsets. The one that everyone will talk about is the Heat over the Bucks. The Bucks had the best record in the NBA this year. I don't know what happened, but like I said, it's not like the Heat are slouches either. The NBA is so much more even now than it used to be, where there was only like 3 or 4 teams, maybe even if that some years. You pretty much could call the finals every year. It just got a little boring, which I don't get. You would think, I don't know if I know pretty much what it is. It's all the wokeness that people don't like. It just turns people off, because you would think with how many teams actually have a chance now that it would even be gaining in popularity. I know there's a lot of people who don't like the 3 ball. That's just become so centric to the game, but not every team plays like that. There's still teams that are playing a little bit old-fashioned, still spreading the ball around, and some of these huge comebacks are exciting. So it's kind of, I know there's a lot of people who are down on the NBA right now, and it kind of seems to be losing a little popularity, but it's the playoffs. Maybe people are just getting sick of the regular season. A lot of people are saying they should shorten the season because these guys aren't playing anyway. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I mean, the owners aren't going to want to lose money. The players aren't going to want to concede money. It's not going to happen. But like I said, I love these legendary performances. These are where players etch their names in history forever, where some guys go from borderline Hall of Fame candidates to surefire first ballot Hall of Fame candidates. Maybe someone like a Jimmy Butler, and it's great to see, especially with the series themselves being so lopsided so far. But either way, I'm going to wrap this one up. Anyone get this far, I'd like to say thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, stay safe. Peace.